On a rainy Monday morning in Seattle, Washington employees hurried through the glass. Entrance of Harrison Technologies, one of America's fastest-growing cybersecurity companies, inside the spotless lobby. 38-year-old Marcus Reed, a black single father, quietly pushed a janitor's cart across the polished marble floor wearing a navy blue maintenance uniform, black work boots, and protective gloves. Marcus greeted everyone with a polite smile, though few ever returned it. 3 years earlier, Marcus had lost his wife to cancer and devoted every moment outside work to raising his 8-year-old son, Jaden. Every evening after finishing his janitor shift, he helped his son with homework, cooked dinner, and reminded him that dignity came from character, not job titles that morning. Company CEO Victoria Langston, a 42-year-old executive famous for demanding perfection, entered the lobby surrounded by assistants and investors, dressed in an elegant white business suit. She stopped suddenly after noticing a few drops of water near the entrance. "Who cleaned this floor?" she demanded. Marcus immediately stepped forward. "I did, ma'am. Someone tracked rainwater inside." "I'll wipe it again," Victoria frowned. "You call this professional?" Employees nearby quietly watched. "You people never pay attention to details." Marcus apologized without arguing and calmly reached for his mop. Several workers looked uncomfortable, but no one spoke at that moment. Victoria's personal bodyguard, David Cole, a 45-year-old former U.S. Army Special Forces operator, quietly studied Marcus. Something seemed strangely familiar as Marcus bent to clean the floor. The sleeve of his uniform slid back, revealing a long scar running across his forearm. David's eyes widened. He took one careful step forward. That scar, Marcus slowly looked up. Their eyes met for several silent seconds. Neither man spoke. Then David whispered in disbelief, "No." "It can't be," Victoria looked confused. "What are you talking about?" David ignored the question. He stood at attention then, in front of every employee in the lobby. He gave Marcus a perfect military salute. The entire building fell silent. Every conversation in the lobby stopped as David held his salute. Marcus returned it quietly before lowering his hand. Victoria stared at both men. "Would someone please explain what's happening?" David turned toward the CEO, "Ma'am. Before I worked security, I served in the U.S. Army Special Forces." He looked back at Marcus. This man was the team leader who carried me to an evacuation helicopter after I was critically injured during an overseas mission. The lobby became completely silent. David continued, "If Captain Marcus Reed hadn't risked his own life that day, I wouldn't be standing here." Victoria looked at Marcus in shock. "You were a Special Forces captain?" Marcus nodded modestly. That was a long time ago. "Why are you working as a janitor?" one employee asked. Marcus smiled softly. "When my wife passed away, I needed a job with stable hours, so I could raise my son. I wanted to be there when he came home from school." Victoria lowered her eyes. Only minutes earlier, she had publicly embarrassed a man whose courage had once saved lives. "I'm sorry," she said sincerely. "I judge your uniform instead of your character." Marcus simply smiled. "We all make mistakes." Later that afternoon, Victoria invited Marcus into her office. Instead of offering charity, she offered respect. "Our Veteran Support Division needs a director." She said, "We need someone who understands leadership better than any resume can show." Marcus accepted, not because of the salary, but because the schedule would still allow him to pick up Jaden from school every afternoon. The following week, the company announced a new scholarship program for children of military families, created in honor of Marcus's service and sacrifice. News of the story spread across the United States. Headlines praise not only a decorated veteran, but also a devoted single father who had chosen his son's future over prestige. That evening, Marcus arrived home just as Jaden ran into his arms. "Did you have a good day, Dad?" Marcus smiled. "The best part of every day is coming home to you." Jaden hugged him tightly. Marcus realized that medals, titles, and promotions could never equal the quiet joy of keeping a promise to his son. And everyone at Harrison Technologies learned a lesson they would never forget. Never measure a person's worth by the uniform they wear, because the greatest heroes often choose humility over recognition.